Slender Man. Slender Man is the internet's original urban legend that somehow feels older than the internet itself. Described as impossibly tall, thin, and dressed in a black suit, his most disturbing feature is what he doesn't have: a face. His presence is often followed by static interference, missing children reports, and a creeping paranoia that's impossible to shake. According to the mythos, Slender Man doesn't just hunt his victims. He stalks them for weeks, even months, gradually driving them to madness before finally taking them. There's no consensus on what he is. Some say a demon, others a cryptid, maybe even a thought form brought to life by human belief. His slender sickness supposedly causes hallucinations, nosebleeds, and blackouts in those he targets. He's patient, unnervingly so, and prefers psychological destruction over brute force. The scariest part? He doesn't need to break into your home. If you believe in him enough, he's already there. And unlike most monsters, he doesn't just end your life, he erases it. Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer's story is one of transformation, from bullied teenager to one of Creepypasta's most infamous murderers. According to the legend, Jeff was attacked by bullies, fought back violently, and suffered a horrific accident that burned his face into a permanent white grin. After the incident, Jeff began displaying psychotic behavior, eventually murdering his family in their sleep. His catchphrase, "Go to sleep," is the last thing his victims hear before he kills them. Part of his fear factor comes from his image, a grainy, uncanny photo of a pale face with lidless eyes and a carved smile, staring right through you. Internet lore paints Jeff as a sadistic killer who thrives on fear and doesn't kill quickly. He likes to savor it. Some versions claim he feels no pain, making him nearly unstoppable. Others suggest he's just human, which somehow makes him worse. Because monsters are one thing, but humans with no empathy? That's nightmare fuel. Jeff is proof that the scariest smile is the one you can't unsee. The Rake. The Rake is the thing you hope isn't sitting at the foot of your bed at 3 a.m. Pale, gaunt, hairless, and disturbingly human-shaped, this creature crawls on all fours and is often described as having empty, glowing eyes that seem to pierce right into your mind. Sightings usually happen in bedrooms. People wake to find it silently watching them, its face inches from theirs. Some say it whispers incomprehensible words before fleeing. Others claim it attacks, leaving deep scratches as if trying to rip something out of you. Reports of the Rake span decades, suggesting it's more than just an internet invention. Witness accounts often end with mental collapse, night terrors, or sudden disappearance. There's no clear motive. It doesn't seem to kill for food or revenge. It's like it exists purely to torment. The Rake's worst weapon isn't claws or teeth, but the absolute certainty that once you've seen it, it knows where you sleep. And it doesn't knock. It just appears. Smile Dog. Smile Dog is proof that sometimes a picture really is worth 1,000 nightmares. The legend centers on a cursed image, a grainy photograph of a husky-like dog with unnervingly human teeth grinning wide enough to feel wrong. Supposedly, the image comes as an email attachment titled smile.jpg, and once you've seen it, it begins haunting your dreams. Victims report visions of the dog urging them to spread the word by sharing the image. Those who refuse are driven into insanity, plagued by hallucinations until they either give in or take their own lives. Some accounts claim Smile Dog's image can be slightly different each time. Sometimes blood in the background, sometimes a shadowy figure lurking behind it. Researchers in the myth say the file is impossible to delete, reappearing on drives like it's alive. The scariest part? It's not the dog's teeth. It's the idea that by looking at a single digital image, you might have already doomed yourself. That smile isn't friendly. It's a warning you're too late to escape. Ben Drowned. Ben Drowned is what happens when a video game stops being a game. The story begins with a cursed Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask cartridge bought at a yard sale. Inside the game, things aren't right. NPCs act strangely, music is distorted, and Link's face occasionally freezes into a horrific grin. The player soon learns the cartridge is haunted by Ben, a drowned boy whose spirit is trapped in the code. Ben manipulates the game's reality, warping it with unsettling text boxes, reversed music, and impossible events. Eventually, the haunting bleeds into the real world, emails from Ben, strange file corruptions, and unexplained phenomena in the player's home. The creepiness lies in the slow breakdown between game logic and reality, until you can't tell which is which. "You shouldn't have done that," became Ben's infamous phrase, a taunt to anyone who thinks they can outsmart him. This creepypasta blends nostalgia with existential dread, because if a game can look back at you, what else in your home can? Eyeless Jack. Eyeless Jack's appearance is nightmare simplicity: black hoodie, blue surgical mask, and nothing behind it but empty black sockets. Victims usually wake to find themselves in pain, only to learn an organ has been removed. There's no sound, no forced entry, and no explanation for how he gets in or out. He leaves behind a black, tar-like substance at the scene, often around the wounds. Some stories frame him as a supernatural predator, others suggest he was once human and fell victim to a cursed transformation. The most disturbing accounts are from survivors, people who wake mid-surgery to see his shadowy form looming over them, gloved hands deep in their torso. He never speaks, never chases. He doesn't need to. By the time you realize you're his target, he's already finished the job. Whether he eats the organs, sells them, or keeps them as trophies, no one knows. But if you wake up with a scar and something missing, congratulations, you've met Eyeless Jack, Siren Head. Imagine a telephone pole, but wrong. That's Siren Head, a 40-foot-tall skeletal creature with two sirens where its head should be. Its rusted metallic speakers can mimic any sound. Emergency alerts, the voices of loved ones, even the cries of a child. Victims are lured into the open, thinking they're responding to a call for help, only to vanish without a trace. Siren Head's skin resembles mummified flesh stretched tight over bone, blending into dead trees and power lines. Sightings are rare, and survivors rarer. Its sheer size means it can't hide in cities, so it hunts in forests, deserts, and abandoned towns. Some say the sounds it plays aren't just mimicry, they're disorienting frequencies that scramble your senses, making escape impossible. Siren Head doesn't just kill, it erases. No witnesses, no bodies, just the faint echo of a siren that shouldn't be there. And the moment you think, that's strange, I don't hear any cars, it's already too late. Laughing Jack? Laughing Jack begins like a children's story, a magical clown who appears to lonely kids. But unlike the bright balloon-carrying kind, Jack is black and white, with a long nose, sharp teeth, and a voice that never stops giggling. He befriends children, gaining their trust before turning on them in sadistic ways. Mutilation, torture, and elaborate psychological games. Victims are often found surrounded by candy, their bodies grotesquely posed. Some believe Laughing Jack was once an imaginary friend, turned real through a child's belief, then corrupted into something monstrous. His humor is cruel, his laughter constant, and his creativity and killing disturbingly high. He doesn't just end lives, he turns them into twisted performances. Parents never see him coming because to them, he's invisible. The tragedy is that to his victims, he's the only friend they ever had. His laughter isn't joy. It's the sound of someone enjoying your fear like a fine meal. Zalgo. Zalgo isn't a creature you see. He's a corruption that infects everything you know. Often described in glitchy, broken text online, Zalgo's presence is marked by strange symbols, distorted images, and language that trails into madness. His mythos paints him as an ancient, reality-breaking entity that devours both worlds and minds. In Creepypasta lore, when Zalgo comes, words themselves start bleeding. Comic strips, messages, and even thoughts become infected with unreadable chaos. Those who speak of him too much risk inviting him in, as if awareness is the doorway. Unlike most monsters with a shape or voice, Zalgo's form is inconsistent, a shifting abomination of black tendrils, rotting faces, and endless eyes. The terror comes from inevitability. He doesn't stalk or hunt in the traditional sense. He simply arrives, and when he does, reality itself begins to fall apart around you. His catchphrase, "He comes," isn't a warning. It's a statement, and by the time you read it, you might already be too late. The story doesn't end here. Subscribe to witness the rise of more darkness.